Hey guys, hi, this is Abhishek Singh and we are doing revision summary of electromagnetic field theory and it is the part 12 of this series and in this series, in this video, in this particular video, we are going to cover the topic of Ampere's law and its application. So it is one of the important topics and its application is we will use on the symmetric fields, okay, not in the non-symmetric bodies. It is applicable on both the types of bodies, but we will apply it on symmetric bodies only. So let us see what is Ampere's law. So for solving Ampere's law, let's say we have an infinite wire. I have drawn a dot. By dot, I mean the wire is placed perpendicular to your screen, pointing inward, okay, or outward, whatever you want. That is, the wire is infinitely long and it is perpendicular to the plane of your screen. Okay, that's why I have shown it as a dot. So let us say I will draw an imaginary loop around it, circular loop of some radius r. Okay, so it has some radius r and it is a current infinite long wire carrying current I. So my question is, what is the field at a point r? We can easily calculate this kind of problems. Before that, we have to see what is Ampere's law. So Ampere's law states, before stating Ampere's law, let me calculate the closed line integral of B dot dl. I'm writing it mathematically, closed line integral of B dot dl. Okay, what is B? B is magnetic field produced due to this infinite wire. Okay, so here is the wire at the center of this circular loop. So what would be the what would be the magnetic field at a distance r? Let's say at this point. So we know magnetic field due to infinite wire is given by, I'm writing it over here, and it is given by mu naught I over 2 pi r. Mu naught I over 2 pi r. And what would be its direction? Its direction is in the phi cap. Okay. So how to calculate the direction? I will let you know. If you place your thumb in the direction of current, so current's direction is outwards. Maybe you are seeing it as inward, so I will show it as outward. So if you put your thumb in the direction of current, then your fingers will show the direction of magnetic field. The curl of fingers will show the direction of magnetic field. Put your thumb pointing outward of your screen, then you can see the magnetic field will curl, your fingers will curl in this phi cap direction. So magnetic field is mu naught I over 2 pi r phi cap. Okay, and dl in this case is nothing but uh, dl in this case is given by r d phi phi cap. Okay, so it is r d phi cap. So if you do dot product of these two quantities, you can see here is phi cap and here is also we have phi cap. So phi dot phi is 1. So you can get mu naught, this is mu naught I over 2 pi r times r d phi. You have to take a closed line integral, a closed integral, not an integral. And for a closed loop, we know that phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. After solving this, you can easily see that is mu naught I over 2 pi, and integral of d phi from 0 to 2 pi is again 2 pi. So this 2 pi cancels and you will get mu naught times I. What is I? I is the current enclosed in that loop. Okay, so now I am going to state the definition of Ampere's law. Ampere's law states that closed line integral of B dot dl is nothing but mu naught times the current enclosed in that closed loop. Okay, we have this closed loop or which we are going to integrate. So what is the amount of current inside that loop? We will put that current here. Okay, so if there would be no current inside the loop, then the magnetic field is zero. Okay, we are going to see its application. Before that, I will tell you that this is the integral form of Ampere's law. We do have differential form of Ampere's law, as if you remember, we have seen the integral and differential form of Gauss law in electrostats. So in the similar fashion, we do have integral and differential form of Ampere's law as well in magnetostats. Okay, so I will demonstrate that part in the next slide, and you can write, let me rewrite the Ampere's law integral form. Line integral of B dot dl is mu naught I. Okay, we have seen the definition earlier, just a minute ago. So can I write the LHS of this equation as surface integral del cross B dot dA? So you guys can easily tell me now that I have used here the curl theorem. So we know a closed line integral of a vector is equal to surface integral of del cross A dot dA. This is dA, small area vector. Okay? So now I can write that RHS as mu naught. Mu naught is mu naught, and I can be written as surface integral of J dot dA. What is J? J is surface current. Okay, sorry, volume current. So now you can compare the integrand on both the sides of this equation, and after comparing the integrands, you can easily see that del cross B is equal to mu naught J, mu naught times J. So this equation is known as the differential form of Ampere's law. Okay, so now we know the integral form of different Ampere's law. This is the integral form of Ampere's law, and this is the differential form of Ampere's law. We will use these forms in different scenarios. Let us see an example to understand how to use Ampere's law and what is the application of Ampere's law. Okay, so here we have an example. In this example, we are given with the infinite cylinder. Okay, so this given cylinder is infinite. Okay. And I have drawn its axis. So this infinite cylinder has a radius A. So I will draw its radius. Its radius is A. Okay, so A is much less than its length. Whatever its length, we cannot define it because it is infinite in this question. So in question it may be written as a very long cylinder or maybe a long cylinder. So you have to consider that part as infinite cylinder. Okay. So along with that, we are doing a special case, and in that special case, I am going to tell you that the current in this cylinder is distributed on the surface of the cylinder only, not inside. Okay. So current is distributed on the surface only, and it is pointing in this z direction. Let's say this is z cap, this is z cap, the upward direction is z cap. Okay. So current is also on the surface of the cylinder pointing along this z cap direction. Okay. So the first part of the question says what is the magnetic field inside of the cylinder and outside of the cylinder. So you have to calculate the magnetic field inside and outside of this given cylinder, cylindrical infinite wire, which has a surface current only on the surface of the cylinder. Okay. So in the first case where the current is on the surface only, we have two cases. first case has two sub cases. First sub case is r less than a, that means inside of that cylindrical wire. Okay, so if I am talking about inside, then I have to draw an ampere loop inside that cylindrical wire. So let's say this is the ampere loop. Okay, so we have to integrate over this loop. So for line integral, we have to define the direction of integration. You can take the direction of integration something like that. And now applying the in Ampere's law, which says line integral of b dot dl is equal to mu naught times I enclosed in that Amperian loop. This loop is, by the way, called as Amperian loop. Okay, so let's say the magnetic field vector B can be written as mod of B times its direction. Okay, so its direction in this case is along phi cap, as current is along z direction. So you can use again the right hand thumb rule. So if current is along z direction, then your magnetic field would be along phi cap. Okay, this is phi cap direction, which our fingers in this case is showing. Okay, so B would be mod B times phi cap, and we know that dl vector is r d phi cap. So after dot multiplying these two quantities, you can easily see we will be left with mod b times r d phi, and integral over d phi for a complete circle is 2 pi. Okay, 0 to 2 pi integral of d phi is 2 pi, is equal to mu naught times I. But you can easily see, as the current is only on the surface of the cylinder, so in this Amperian loop, in this particular Amperian loop which is inside of the cylinder, the current enclosed is 0, so that part is going to be 0. So RHS is completely 0. So on the left side we have mod B and RHS is 0. Okay, so magnetic field is 0 inside of the cylinder, which is having the current on the surface of the cylinder only. Okay, so it was the first case, first sub case r less than a. Let us see its second sub case, and second sub case says r is greater than a, is the radius of that cylinder. Okay, so in that case only the left hand side will always be b into 2 pi r, mod b times 2 pi r. Okay, for the cylindrical symmetry. Okay, and RHS would be mu naught times current enclosed. So we are talking about r greater than a, and for r greater than a we have to draw an Amperian loop which will cover the entire cylinder. Okay, in this case the total current enclosed would be the given current on the cylinder. So let's say it is I. Okay, so now you can write that B is mu naught I over 2 pi r, and its direction would be again along phi cap. So it is the magnetic field outside of the cylinder. Okay, so we have solved both the sub cases of first case. So we will move to the second case, and now in this second case we are given that the current is uniformly distributed throughout the volume of the cylinder. So I can draw it something like that. The current is distributed uniformly throughout the volume of this cylinder, throughout the complete volume of the cylinder in the direction z cap direction. Okay, this is z cap direction. So current is something like that throughout the volume. Okay, so mathematically we can write that volume current density J would be total current I divided by perpendicular area, which is pi times a square. Okay, this is J. And now we will apply the Ampere's law, and the first sub case is again R less than A. Okay, for R less than A, the current enclosed I dash would be total J, which is I over pi R square pi A square, and you have to multiply that J by the area of Amperian loop. Okay, so for inside case, let's say the Amperian loop is something like that with some radius small r, some radius small r. Okay, uh, we are talking about the case of small r is less than A. Okay, so you have to multiply it with the area of the loop, Amperian loop, which is pi r squared. So this pi cancels, and you will get I dash as I r square over A square. Okay, so now you if you apply the Ampere's law, you have the left hand side as mod b times 2 pi r is equal to I r square over A square. Okay, you can now cancel the r on both the sides, divide by 2 pi, and you will be left with b as I r over 2 pi A square. This is I r over 2 pi A squared. Okay, so on the right hand side we had mu naught as well. I had forgotten it. Mu naught as well. Mu naught I r over 2 pi A square. Okay, so this is the amount of magnetic field inside of that cylindrical wire which has a uniformly distributed volume current. Okay, so the second sub case is I will use different marker. So the second sub case is R greater than A, that is outside of the cylinder. For outside of the cylinder, the current enclosed in the Amperian loop would be I only. So what would be the Amperian loop? Amperian loop would be something like that. Okay, so the current enclosed would be the total current, which means I prime must be equal to I. So again, mod B into 2 pi r would be equal to mu naught times I. Okay, so again you can see that it is a very simple expression of B as mu naught I over 2 pi times r will again decay as 1 over r. Okay, the direction would be along phi cap. So it is a second case in the cylindrical uh, wire. So the third case is if you are given that the J is proportional to R. Okay, in this question we are given that total current is I, which is which is not uniformly distributed on the entire volume, but it is distributed such that J is proportional to R. So let's say we have proportionality constant as some K. J is KR. Okay, R is of course the distance from the axis. Okay, so we don't know what is the value of K. So first of all, we have to calculate the value of K. And for that, we will simply use the concept that total current I should be equal to integral of J dot dA. Okay, so if you integrate that quantity, J is KR, and dA in this particular case is pi r square. Okay, when you integrate this quantity, K into pi into r cube over 3 is I. So you can easily see that K is 3I over pi r cube. 3I over. So why we have a quantity of. Okay, so sorry, I have done a mistake. So let me correct the mistake. So up to here everything is fine. Now I have to use that J is K R times what is the direction of J. So we know the direction of J is along Z cap. Okay, so area vector in this case would be R dr d phi times Z cap. Okay, z cap is 1, dot cap is z cap is 1, so you will be left with k r square dr d phi, and integral is from 0 to 2 pi, and for r integral is from 0 to the complete radius a. You can see k r cube over 3 integral limit from 0 to a times d phi integral from 0 to 2 pi is 2 pi. So you can see 2 pi over 3 k a cube is nothing but I. You can calculate the value of k as 3I over 2 pi a cube. This is the value of k. Having known the value of k, we know the complete value of j vector. So again, you can calculate the magnetic field inside of the wire. For that, you have to consider the Amperian loop inside, and the first case, which is r is less than a, says that left hand side is mod b times pi 2 pi r, is right hand side is mu naught times I. Mu naught is mu naught, I is j dA integral. Okay, so for j dA integral, we know j is nothing but k times r, mu naught k r, and dA in this particular case is nothing but again r dr d phi, r dr d phi. Okay, so if we integrate this quantity for a perfect limit, for a sorry for a given limit which is from 0 to r, and for phi we know the integral is from 0 to 2 pi. After integrating this and putting the value of k, you can easily see that B magnetic field inside of the wire is mu naught I r square divided by 2 pi a cube, and its direction would be along phi cap. This is the magnetic field inside of this wire, which has a current density as proportional to r. Okay, so you can similarly calculate the magnetic field outside of the wire by integrating with a proper limit. I'm not going to solve that part. You can do by your own. Okay, so let us see a previous year question. Okay, so what the question is saying is a current is flowing through the sides of an equilateral triangle. Okay, you are given an equilateral triangle of side A. Okay, the magnitude of magnetic field at the center of the triangle, it is our question. Okay, so I have drawn the okay, so this should be something like that. I have drawn the equilateral triangle with side length a, and by using the property of equilateral triangle, which I am not going to prove here, you must know that from your 10th class or maybe 8th class that the centroid is at a height of a over 2 root 3 from the base side. Okay, so this length, let's say I will draw it. This length is nothing but a over 2 roots. Okay, so we know the expression of magnetic field due to a finite wire, which is nothing but mu naught I over 4 pi d. Let's say it is mu naught I over 4 pi d. D here is, let me rewrite this, d is a over 2 root 3. This is simple geometry problem. You can easily solve that d is a over 2 root 3. Okay. And we are given that the current is I inside the wire. Okay, so this is the magnetic field due to due to a finite wire with a factor of sine theta 2 minus theta 1. Sorry, sine theta 1. Sine theta 2 minus sine theta 1. Sine theta 1. Okay. So in this case, you can see that theta 2 is 60 degree, but theta 1 is minus 60 degree. Okay, because you are traveling in the opposite sense. So theta 1 is minus 60 degree and theta 2 is 60 degree. You can easily put the values of theta 60 and minus 60, and you are given that d is a over 2 root 3. Putting all those values, you can easily see that your answer will come out to be equal to option A. So that was a very easy question, but you can easily solve this type of question using simple tricks. Okay, sorry, important point here is that when you calculate this quantity, it would come out to be equal to 3 mu naught I over 2 pi A. But why the answer is 9 mu naught I over 2 pi A? Because it is the magnetic field due to a single wire, but you have three similar wires and all have equal magnetic field pointing in the same direction. So you have to add this quantity to itself three times, and 3 into 3 is 9, so you will get option A as your answer. Okay, let us see one more question. So the question, both the questions were asked in JAM 2018 or 17. I don't remember exactly, but both the questions were from 2018 or 17. Okay, so this question reads a current. My mouse is not working. Okay, fine. So this question reads a current of 10 amperes flows in an infinitely long wire. Flows along an infinite long wire along the axis of hemisphere. You can see the figure in the question itself. Then what is the value of surface integral del cross B dot ds over the hemispherical surface as shown in the figure? So it is actually not the question of magnetostat, but it is the question of vector algebra, and they have used the quantities of magnetostats. So we know by Curl theorem that surface integral of del cross B dot ds is equal to closed line integral of B dot dl. Okay, this is the Curl theorem. This quantity which has been asked in the question is equal to this quantity which I have right on the screen. Okay, but you know this quantity by Ampere's law is equal to mu naught times current enclosed, and current enclosed is 10 amperes. So it is nothing but mu naught times 10. So actually you can write it as 10 mu naught, and option A is exactly matching with this solution. So it was also a very easy question. You just have to know that surface integral of curl of a vector is equal to line integral of that vector. Okay, this is the statement of curl theorem, and we also call it as I think Stokes theorem. So, using the statement of Stokes theorem, you can easily calculate that option A is your correct answer. It is just a one-line problem. So, dear students, if you are new, you can subscribe to Edunkle, and um, yes, you can download the Edunkle's mobile application for doubt or any kind of queries. Thank you.